I don't know, maybe you won't be able to hear them and they won't be so distracting as they are to me. Okay, the other thing about hair fairies, this place in New York, is it's not cheap. For a session, for a delousing session, it's $90-something, and then you have to buy their products, and that could be an additional like $30 or $40 depending on what they sell you. Another thing that they have, and you certainly don't have to buy it from them, is an oil that they recommend putting all around the hairline and a little bit at the crown, to keep the lice from crawling out, because like I said, they don't like tea tree oil. So again, that's non-toxic. You could buy their product, or you could just get tea tree oil at the health food store. So it's like $90, and then you would go back for a free checkup, something like a week later, or maybe a little bit longer, and they'll check through your child's hair again. And you know, if they're not clean again, they'll give them another treatment. Okay, so that's important to know. I wanted to quote, I started out by talking about how toxic the pesticide is in the over-the-counter drugs. The over-the-counter lice removal and prevention, like RID, like Nix, like Dwayne Reed and CVS. They make their generic ones that are exactly the same. They're using the same chemical. There was a recent study that said that children who used insecticidal shampoo were nearly twice more likely to have childhood acute leukemia, according to a new study. So that's scary. I mean, they don't say here how much. That doesn't mean like one dosage your child automatically will get cancer. But again, I have to assume that repeat dosages would up their chances of getting cancer. That's pretty heavy stuff. And I like to be a little bit like sort of skeptical of things like that, but in this particular case, I'm not really skeptical about it. The fact that the pesticide is banned, it's, like I said, it's banned in California, and it's just on its way to being unusable in other parts of the country too. So hopefully somebody will come out with something else. You know, that'll be effective and won't potentially harm us or our children. A good source for information is actually the Hair Fairies website, and from there you can link to their Harvard affiliates, the scientists and doctors that they work with there. And through there you can actually see what nits look like at different stages, like what's a nit that already has a louse that hatched out of it, what does that look like, versus a live knit that has like a viable egg inside of it. Okay, so was there anything else I wanted to say on the topic? You know, I would encourage you to send me any questions you may have. If you want additional information about hair fairies, yes, they are only located in Manhattan on the East Coast thus far. So, you know, obviously anybody watching lives in Jersey City. You'll have to make the trek over there, but I do think it's worth it, especially if you feel like you're sort of drowning in the nightmare of how to get rid of this problem. And hang on, let me check my time. You know, it's interesting, I'm reading the information on this box, and it's not only is some of it wrong, I feel like it's downright irresponsible, some of it. You know, it really doesn't say, like, not to repeat use in, I mean, it says recommended 7 to 10 days, but it doesn't warn you against using it any more frequently than that. And I feel like that's a problem. It also goes into a whole thing about, like, using the spray on your bedding and to wash all the sheets, and how it kills nits on your bedspread and your pillows and stuff. I mean, they're not going to live. They don't. A louse doesn't lay an egg off of the hair shaft. You know what I mean? It's like the likelihood of that happening is quite slim. So, you know. Anyway, it's like only if you absolutely must. otherwise, I recommend, and again, you know, you could go to this Hair Fairy's place and not actually do the $90 treatment. You could buy their products, get a little bit of a lesson from them, and do it yourself. So that's another approach. And you could also investigate the alternative non-toxic treatment and prevention. That's another thing that I really wanted to mention, is that if you know there's lice or a lice outbreak in the school or in your child's classroom, it could be really as simple as just putting that tea tree oil or peppermint oil on your child's head, you know, really like in a circle around it, or kind of smush it through their scalp a little bit, you know, so they give off a little kind of minty smell. You know, it's not unpleasant in any way. The kid's not going to care, and it actually does work to prevent lice crawling onto their scalp and taking up a new residence, as it were. So, and what's my story? Still fighting it. I mean, everybody's clear as far as any of the bugs go, but you know, you have to stay on top of it and keep looking in the scalp for nits and just making sure that you've got everything. It's really an ongoing process, and it should go on for a couple of weeks. I would anticipate that. So now the lighting has really changed in the course of the show because the sun went down. I'm really limited to sunlight hours. What is that? Oh man. I've had this like weird reflection from some doodad that's hanging off of the bunk bed. Anyway, have I been scratching during the show? Yeah, a little bit. Damn it. You know, oh, that's another thing. I'm glad I thought of that, because sometimes lice don't actually produce an itching reaction in their host. And when that happens, you really can have, like, an infestation could start, because you just would never be aware that something was going on. That is one of the first symptoms, is if you're watching your children, they start scratching their head a lot. That's how it started with us. And you know, what are you going to do when that child wants to sleep in your bed? You're going to kick them out for a couple of bugs? Just one of the pains of, you know, parenthood. Okay, with that said, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope to actually make a visit to the Hair Fairy Salon and show you what it's like there. You know, who knows, maybe I'll do episode after episode on this topic. But anyway, if you have questions, please do write to me at mamarama@operamail.com. My email should be in my, my closing credits for whatever they're worth. Okay, thank you for joining me, and bye-bye. I have like 1 minute left, and I actually found out something kind of important that I wanted to add to today's topic, and that was, I had talked about hair fairies at length, and I found out that they actually accept some health insurance. I had mentioned that they're a bit expensive, but if you can offset that by getting a pediatrician would have to make a recommendation that you seek outside treatment and whatever, and it just so happens that they are able to take health insurance. I mean, just like, you know, any other place, it's open to whatever insurance they accept. But at least that's kind of, you know, something to look into and might be helpful. Okay, and then.
But now I have to go poop. Only you love your camera, right?
Yes, I do.